So at this time, if you have ever been a student athlete or a coach or an assistant coach or manager or been associated any way with Roane State Athletics, would you please stand where you are? Look at all these folks. All over the room. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We also, we're not only celebrating the past, but also celebrating the future. And I know some of them had to duck off and some of them were waiting here to get food, but we've got some wonderful current members of our athletic teams in different places around the room. So now I'm going to embarrass them. Would our current student athletes please stand and be recognized?
Stand.
Carrying on the tradition, so rich, the foundation that all of you all have laid. And let me just tell you, just this year, we've had a championship team in our women's cross country represented in this room, yes. We have the region runner-ups in volleyball. We have our championship men's team who done back-to-back, and not to put pressure on them, but we would not mind at all, Coach Holt, a three-peat. That would not be a thing that we would oppose. We would be, that's right. As well as several individual awards, too many and too numerous to name here. But again, to all of you, we are so grateful. And we're not stopping with the rich tradition and the foundation that you all have laid, but we have brought on additional sports. We brought back some sports, and starting in the fall of 24, for the first time at Roane State Community College, we will have the first Roane State women's soccer team. And so we're really excited about that. Marcia, our CFO, is not here to hear me talk about spending money, so I can go ahead and say that we're not going to stop there. I think, Teresa, we're going to keep going. No, Marcia is as pure a supporter of our student athletes as anyone who walks the halls of Roane State. So I'd also especially like to thank a dear friend to all of us, and many of you know him, the former commissioner of the TCCAA. There's not enough time for me to tell you all the things and all the ways, the things that he has done to support athletics across our state. But Foster Chase and his wife Carol are here. Foster, would you wave at us and stand, please? Foster Chase. Here's our ask of you. You all get together and you tell these wonderful stories, and Teresa and I have already heard about connections that we didn't know. We've been around here a long time. Sorry, Teresa, that didn't sound right. But those kind of things we want to hold on to. So you can see some of the memorabilia we have up here, but we also have folks in the room. We have a table back there. We want your contact information, and frankly, we want the contact information of your teammates and others who may not have been able to be here today. We want to reach out to them so that maybe next time we have one of these, it's so big we can't even have it in this room, and we'll have to have a bigger space for it. I think that would be a great problem to have. So please let us know if you know where teammates are, if you know where other folks associated with the time during which you played and participated here at Roane State. Please make sure today you leave that information with us so that we can reach out to those folks as well. Because it's not only about celebrating the past, celebrating the current status, but making sure as we move into the future that we have these records, that we have a way to honor all those who have paved the way. So again, thank you. I promise to be quiet now, and I'd like to introduce to you a man now who has really done a lot for Roane State, both in his time here as a faculty member and now, of course, most recently as our athletic director. His heart beats and bleeds Roane State every day. Would you welcome, please, our AD, David Lane. David, come on up, please.
Everybody that doesn't realize the importance of junior college athletics and the relationships that are formed on a daily basis, I say this: tell me this doesn't matter. This is great. So thank you all for being here. We're going to begin our induction ceremonies for our Hall of Fame at this time. Monica Boles, in 1999, was a graduate of Clark Range High School. She joined the Lady Raiders basketball team the following season and earned Player of the Year and was also a finalist for the President's Award, which is the highest student academic award at Roane State. In 2001, following her career at Roane State, Boles transferred to play basketball at Carson-Newman University. And after completing her degree at Carson-Newman, Boles...
Playing under Coach Boles was fun transfer.
I didn't get a degree in technology, sorry.
At least you didn't play the wrong national anthem in the basketball game.
He did. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So after completing her degree at Carson-Newman, Boles returned to Roane State and served as a women's basketball volunteer assistant. In 2008, Boles was named as the head women's coach, and in 2015, she was named the TCCAA Coach of the Year. Coach Boles completed her coaching career at Roane State after the 2019 season.
Playing under Coach Boles was fun, transparent, and a mind-blowing experience. When we went to the championship my freshman year, I started that game and we were playing Walter State. And so basically we were neck and neck with them the entire game. I think right before halftime I was injured. And so I messed up my ankle and I couldn't go back. And I was having a decent game, like being helpful for the team and things like that. And so I just started crying, and like I saw her tear up. Like we were tearing up together, and it was just like after halftime I sat like right beside her, knowing I can't go back in. But it was just we really just bonded, and I felt like that's when I really knew, like, man, Coach is gonna be a mentor for life. She's gonna be family for life. She's a person of her word for sure. So if she said you're gonna run or whatever the case was, she's gonna go about what she said. I coach middle school, and so with that being said, like I'm very, get your work done, because that's how she was on us. Get your work done. There were times that if you didn't do your study hall or that little work piece, I mean you're not playing. When we do get on them 4 lines or in their 4 lines, we going hard. We're not playing. We're not because you never know. You can be injured. You can get you never know what's next. So take advantage of what's now.
For me, Monica was incredibly inspiring. During my time at Roane State, like she made me grow up and mature emotionally and mentally in ways that I didn't even think I needed, especially at 19. But she was a big part of me growing up to move on to university, and then even in my career now. I learned really just how to take inspiration. When I came to Coach Boles, to Monica, I thought I had it all figured out. Every 18-year-old, 19-year-old does. And I think she helped me be teachable just in general, whether it be on the basketball court or even in my career. I think because of her, I can expand pretty much as far as I want to go.
Monica Boles is the epitome of Roane State athletics. What can you add to the fact that she was a tremendous student athlete here, a tremendous student, great academically, a leader among her team and athletics in general, a great player, extremely driven, and then as a coach, she brought the same effort and enthusiasm to her work ethic. She just was a great skills teacher, put in so much time on the court. We don't really have the resources for strength coaches and all that here, and she took it upon herself to become an outstanding strength coach. She never left any stone uncovered, and the results showed. We were very successful on the court, and she was a tremendous leader and developer of people for those young women that played in our basketball program. Congratulations, Coach Boles. It's just a phenomenal honor to be a part of this ceremony with you, and we so greatly appreciate everything you've done for Roane State athletics and Roane State in general.
Really just want to thank her for just always being there, being supportive, pushing us as much as she did. She believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves, and she's the kind of coach that you want to win for. You want to do anything she asks you to. So just really thank you.
Congratulations, Coach Boles. I love you. I'm happy for you. You deserve this. Thank you for everything. Thank you for pouring into me. I feel like I'm about to get teary eyed. I mean, you changed my life. You gave me a chance. And with that being said, we always gonna be locked in, like for life. Coach Boles for life with us, for real.
Coach Monica Boles.
We were just talking about the days we would see Monty running up this hill over here. Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. On the player's second win, and her saying, "Come on, get up this hill."
If you played for Coach Boles or on her team, would you stand, please? If you played for Coach Boles or you were on her team.
Sandy, are we good? Okay.
It's not often I find myself at a loss for words. I remember my mom telling me when I couldn't even hold myself up in a grocery cart, and I was waving and saying hi to everybody. Speaking has not been something that's been difficult for me, but man, am I humbled to look around this room and see all these faces. And, just thinking back on the time that we spent together, man, what a blessing, what a true blessing. And I just say, thanks to my support system, I say praise be to God first, but a mom that has never stopped believing in me, a supportive husband, and just it's because that I was poured into that I've been able to pour out. And so I've had a great experience here as a player. I felt loved and I felt nurtured. It was a place where I knew I could grow and mature. And like Autumn said, I didn't know I needed it at the time, but I did. And my goal has never been, win this or win that, but my goal has always been to share my experience with those that came here. And I hope that I've halfway succeeded in that. And thank you.
Now, if I can actually see the next words here after Coach Boles gets all emotional like that.
Josh Hurd, the first thing I remember.
Josh Hurd is originally from Hartwell, Georgia, began his playing career at Roane State in men's basketball under Coach Randy Nesbitt in 1996. While at Roane State, Hurd set multiple three-point records and was named Eastern Conference Player of the Year. Following Roane State, he transferred to Tennessee Tech University to continue his playing career. At Tennessee Tech, Hurd averaged 18 points per game and set 2 three-point records. He currently still holds the three-point record at Tennessee Tech University. Following his collegiate career at Tech, Hurd played professionally in Finland. Hurd is now Coach Hurd. He is the boys basketball coach at Cookeville High School in Cookeville, Tennessee, and his team is joining us here today.
Josh Hurd, the first thing I remember was obviously how talented he was. I mean, he's a superb player. But the thing, obviously he's a great shooter and things, but the thing that got me the most was how he worked. He was a tireless worker. He was putting in the extra time all the time. And that's something that I took when I got there as I was very impressed with that. So, and I kind of tried to model that the best I could. Obviously, his talent's a lot more than mine, but he special player. Coach Nesbitt was a stickler on footwork. And anybody who's ever played for Coach Nesbitt knows how detail oriented he is. And he was a stickler for footwork. And Josh was that standard. You know, he was the standard, he was the model. And, you know, I just remember being upset sometimes because I'm like, man, I can't do what he does as good as he does. And I still talk about him to this day to like my team, my son. He was one of the best shooters that I've ever been around. And it was just special to watch it. And I mean, obviously, he went on to Tennessee Tech and had a great career. Special player there. Set all kind of records, 3-point shooting records at Tennessee Tech. I don't know if they still hold. I know one of them was still there for a while, but I think all of his records finally got beat. But superb player. But more than that, an awesome person and a good friend.
Looking at first the bottom line of Josh's legacy here is that the only first place finish that I'm ever aware of that Roane State men's basketball has had was when Josh was captain of the team. He was a tremendously driven player, and he's driven today now as a coach, and he was certainly driven as a player at Tennessee Tech after he left here. But he was a little bit different than the typical shooting guard. A lot of shooting guards are sort of they're just really good shooters. There's not a lot of other facets to their game. They might not be great passers, not be very intense defenders. But Josh was the opposite of that. He would pick up the dribbler full court without me asking him to or any coach telling him to. He would just do it. And players of any kind of a position are usually loath to do that unless the coach makes them. You know, that was just his nature. He was so high energy, just incredible intensity. And then his personality was just infectious. His teammates loved him. He was so upbeat and positive and always supportive of his teammates, even when they weren't playing up anywhere close to his standards, which were enormously high. You know, as he was Player of the Year here in the conference, and obviously going into the Hall of Fame, he had a tremendous career here, but a tremendous person, a tremendous personality, in addition to his playing abilities, which were phenomenal. Josh, every day was a new day to him where he felt he had to prove himself, and why most people don't look at it that way because he was established, successful, but when he came to practice every day, it looked like he was thinking, hey, I have to impress the coach today to start. You know, he just had an amazing motor and was just lifted the people up around him, and just day in and day out, it was just a pleasure and motivating for me to be able to coach him.
Josh, congratulations, my man. I'm so proud of you. Well deserved. If anybody deserves it, you do. Keep being you and just go and be awesome every day.
Josh Hurd, Coach Josh Hurd.
That was hard right there. I said I wasn't gonna cry for my players. Now you guys know why I'm so hard on you in practice. Oh man, for coach to say that, you guys have no understanding. I looked upon Coach Nesbitt. It's all this. Can y'all hear me? I still don't think I deserve this. Just like Coach Nesbitt said, I came to practice every day. I worked my butt off because I felt like I had to prove something. That just goes back to my high school days where I only played 1 year of high school basketball my senior year. And here I got to do all this. got to go to college, I got to go overseas, just my senior year of basketball. But, I mean, Roane State, you guys have done so much for me. You gave me that cornerstone to be the man that I've become. You instilled that work ethic in me and just showed me what I needed to do as a person, as a player. And I will forever, ever be endowed to Roane State. Thank you so much for this. One last thing, this may be a funny note, but today on the schedule, we actually had a ball game today, and I had to cancel the ball game. And it was wrote down today would just be a team activity, so I'm pretty sure once we got on the interstate, the team had no idea where we were going. I'm pretty sure once we got on the interstate and started coming towards Knoxville, they probably thought I was taken to the UT Georgia game. I am in a better place. Guys, stand up for me real quick, please. One last quick thing. The reason why you guys are invited here is because I wanted my family to be with me, and I wanted my second family to be with me, and my basketball team is my second family.
Josh chose the right colors for his school. Because I thought they were some of our players, and I started bossing around. Can you get a table? Can you get some chairs? Until I saw Cookville, I thought, oh my goodness.
Eddie Liskovec is a native.
Coach Eddie Liskovec.
Is a native of Thompsonville, Michigan, where he served for 20 years in the United States Navy. Thank you, Coach. He served in the Navy until 1967, but had a desire to attend college and was offered a golf athletic scholarship at a JUCO in Florida, in which at the time made him the oldest JUCO student athlete in the country. In 1978, Coach Liskovec was named golf coach at Roane State Community College, and in the following season, Roane State Golf for the first time qualified for the NJCAA National Tournament with an individual player. Coach Liskovec continued his career at Roane State until retiring in 1990.
Coach Eddie Liskovec and I met in 1979. He recruited me out of Harriman High School to play golf at Roane State. Coach Eddie was in his second term at Roane State, I've learned, and I was fortunate enough to come out of Harriman and go play for Coach Liskovec at Roane State. Got to know Eddie through my 2 years at Roane State. I guess maybe I knew he was a 20-year Navy guy, but after reading his bio, I definitely found out, and that's why he was so structured. He was very disciplined, and he was very competitive, and he translated all that to his golfers. But Eddie and I made the first trip to the JUCO National Tournament in May of 1980. I was fortunate enough to qualify, and of course Eddie escorted me down to Fort Myers, Florida. Never really played golf in Florida, so my exit was pretty quick. They had a cut line after 2 days in Florida, and I got cut. But what I remember about being in Florida was Buzzy Zeller was a PGA professional that was coming to give a golf clinic to the 100 or so competitors. I didn't really know, but Eddie knew him from competing against him in college. Eddie's 20 years in the Navy put him entering junior college in, I think, his early 40s. So Eddie was 40s playing college golf, and Buzzy Zeller was playing for a team, and the story goes that Eddie had his clubs on a push cart, and Fuzzy Zeller saw him on a couple of holes away and reported that some old guy had joined the college group and somebody needed to get him removed. But they got a big kick out of that after Fuzzy figured out that Eddie was part of the team. And when we were in Florida, Fuzzy, I think, recognized Eddie right off, and they had a great conversation, reliving that story back in the college days. So Eddie is such an athlete, not only as a coach, but Eddie had a career in Olympic type senior events and has over 300 medals. So Eddie is such an athlete. It's very rewarding that he gets this recognition as a coach, which this is what the Roane State Hall of Fame is recognizing.
One of the rules Coach has was no cussing on the golf course. Well, I don't know how many of y'all play golf, but that's a hard lesson. But Coach, one day we're playing at Rockwood, and it's not everybody was a Southern gentleman like Chris Griffin. Coach had a couple of misfits like me and Randy Button and Gary McCullough, Tommy Bean. So one day, Coach has got us there, and he's just giving us the business. I mean, he's telling us no cussing, have more respect on the golf course, and just really getting after us. And Matt, not 10 seconds after this speech, there's a gentleman over there, probably 20 yards away, hits a shot out of bounds, and he lets out the longest tirade of cussing that you can imagine. And so all of us are with that serious face, look at each other. We all just bust out laughing. So I don't know if Coach remembers that, but he tried to give us that lesson, and I guess we received it for a short period of time. A very valuable lesson that he did teach. And Coach, it's just still resonates today, is the value of friendship and the value of giving back. You've always done that. I distinctly remember after school, playing in events, you would always seek us out, come to see us, watch us play, and even brag to others that were sitting around, hey, that was one of my Roane State players. And for that, Coach, I always appreciated that, and that made me feel really good, and that was nice of you to do that. And Coach, you still continue doing that. 2 years ago, Chris and I are playing in a golf tournament in Crossville, and he and Muffin both walked the final 9 holes with us and watched us play. So 40 years after school, you're still giving back. Coach, very thankful for that. I want to congratulate you on this honor of being inducted into the Roane State Hall of Fame. You're very deserving. Thank you very much.
I definitely want to congratulate Eddie for the Hall of Fame induction. I'm really excited about following him in as well, and all the things he taught me have carried me through my athletic career and coaching at Roane State. So congratulations, Coach Liskovec.
Chris Griffin is a native of Harriman, Tennessee.
Coach Griffin is.
Thank you.
I don't know how to start it at 0 like that. Go ahead.
Coach Griffin is Chris Griffin is a native of Harriman, Tennessee. He was recruited to play golf at Roane State in 1979. And while at Roane State, Griffin qualified for the NJCAA National Tournament as an individual in the spring of 1980, making him the first golfer in college history to qualify for the national tournament. Following Roane State, Griffin transferred to Tennessee Tech, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. Griffin was responsible for restarting and coaching the golf programs at Roane State in 2018. During this time, Coach Griffin has had 3 individuals qualify for the national tournament. His 2022-2023 golf team won the first Region 7 Appalachian District title in college history, which qualified the team to advance to the national championship, which also included 2 Americans. And Coach Griffin is currently our head men's golf coach as well.
Coach Griffin is one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Whenever I first came to Roane State, I wasn't sure of how it was going to be, but he made me feel like I was at home, and he put a great team together that we ended up making it to the national championship, and that was a huge step for Roane State. I would say he's like a best friend and a mentor. He jokes with us, he laughs with us. We get into some funny situations whenever we travel on trips, and he also knows how to make us work hard at what we want to achieve, and he's just always there for us.
He puts the time in with us at practice. He's always there. He doesn't work anymore, but he uses all of his time to come and see us and make sure that we're getting better. And he's always pushing us, always asking us how we're doing in the classroom. He always says student athlete, student comes first.
It was a fantastic time playing for Coach Griffin at Roane State. I think a big portion of what he was able to accomplish as a coach is secondary to his character and who he is and his mission. I was on the first team back after the restart of the golf team at Roane State, so Coach Griffin had a lot of work cut out for him. But I think through the culture that he established through the golf program, I think that really allowed it to flourish and grow from its restart point.
He was one of Tennessee's top junior amateurs in golf, and I had the good fortune of caddying for him everywhere because relatives weren't allowed. So his dad sent me with him everywhere, and we played in a lot of the top Tennessee, junior amateur tournaments. Obviously went on to play at Tennessee Tech. He said, but junior college golf is what got me started. He said, and it brought back some of the memories, he said, of you and me playing a lot. From that beginning of reinstituting the golf program in 5 short years to taking a team to the national championship tournament and finishing 6th out of the top 22 teams in the country is an achievement nothing short of remarkable. He took it upon himself and then got supporters from the Roane State Foundation and other alumni. This program needs to be here. Roane State needs to be relevant again. And that was his mission, to recruit and get quality golfers, and on top of that, high quality young men to come together and play, compete, and win, and then watch them grow. That's attributed to him. It's his leadership. There's no question about it. He deserves to be in the Roane State Hall of Fame. Just cut and dry. For Chris, congratulations on an achievement, the process, the growth, the accomplishments. No one is more deserving than Chris is. Amazing human being, kindness, care, sternness, father figure, you name it. Chris is all of that, and just an awesome leader.
He built this program back up from scratch, and he's done one hell of a job, so very well earned.
Griff, I just want to say I'm super proud of you, and I'm super excited for this milestone in your career. You deserve it, and you're the man.
Congrats, Coach Griffin. It's a huge honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it couldn't go to a more deserving person than you.
Griff, congratulations from us all at Roane State Golf, and enjoy this moment.
So Josh and Monica, I'm under a little more pressure because I get to speak for my coach up here, Coach Liskovec. So I can't say Coach Liskovec without talking about Muffin, because we all know at Roane State, you didn't see one without the other, right? And if we had a Hall of Fame for support person, it would go to Muffin. So thank you, Muffin. Yeah, I have a lot written down, but guys know me. I really just try to talk from the heart. I think Josh mentioned it. This is a special day, right? You get your family, which is right here. My 2 sons, daughter, stepdaughter, wife, my grandkids are here, right? A special day for me. They hear me talk and brag about Roane State, and now they get to see them, right? Golfers on the wall, let's see, stand up. Stand up. Yes. As Hunter Clark said, we had a dream that was only achieved with the help of Teresa Duncan, Dr. Whaley, Randy Nesbitt, Bill Fuqua, John Thomas on the screen, my wife's support, Laura, and her stories about playing golf with her grandfather, right? Those connections you cannot take away from somebody. I've been honored to have my 2 sons grow up golfing, my 2 grandsons. I haven't convinced my granddaughter yet, but ironically, she went immediately to the softball coach and started her recruiting process. So, I want to thank y'all again. This is a special day for me. Coach Eddie Liskovec, 94 years old, right? Yes. 300+ senior Olympic medals. You talk about competitive. My kids think I'm competitive. This man right here is competitive, right? Maynard Human is sitting over here. I grew up with some great people. Charlie, you heard from. Basil is his Maynard's son. Gary, we all played together at a small club over in Harriman, okay? When you get mentored by such wonderful men as Maynard Human, Charlie's dad, Bruce Isham, my father, others, right? That's what it's all about. So I can't take away from that experience. I'm glad we got to share the experience with these Roane State golfers. I'm going to be real quick, and I'm going to read this definition of coach. Everybody knows it. You've seen it. A passionate, dedicated individual who unlocks hidden potential and maximizes a team's performance by believing, encouraging, and developing, right? And I think I can speak, I felt that with Coach Liskovec. I think the ladies here knew that with Monica, and everybody knows it with Josh. So thank y'all for that. And when you read that, you don't see what I see on the back. It says, give all and receive more. And I have. So thanks, Roane State, for the opportunity to serve. It's been a blessing. I'm a better person for it. These young men don't stop following these guys in the springtime. They're going to do something really special. They're going to do something really special. So thanks for all you guys that took a chance on Roane State, took a chance on me, took a chance on the other coaches in the room. Coach Charlie comes out of South Carolina to support the Roane State men's golf team. Coach Bo, where you at, Coach Bo? Coach Bo Harris is now the ladies coach, right here, the ladies golf team, right there we are. And Coach Tony Wright. If you want to play for a bunch of engineering nerds, you pick the right school, okay? Coach Wright has got a doctorate of aeronautical engineering and a master's in mechanical. Charlie has a civil engineering degree and a master's, right? And I'm just an electrical engineer. So I've been fortunate. My two sons are both electrical engineers. They both grew up golfing, and I thank you for the time we spent. Thank you, sorry. Thank you all very much. Wonderful day. Naturally, you forget people right in the moment, but Coach Nesbitt was the AD when I came in this program. David Lane is the AD now. Amberly Zeller is here as sports staff. The Roane State Foundation, Dina Jackson is here. I don't know about Scott. But the administrative people at Roane State, I mean, this is a group effort, right? It's a great family environment. So we want to thank and recognize everybody. Thank you, Coach Lane.
Okay, well, I'm Teresa Duncan. I played here in 1982 to 84 basketball. And I wanted to, this whole thing this year is because we wanted Hall of Fame, but Coach Davis and Coach Landers, and if you two will come up, that is a pair right there, to have them in the same room. They called me about a year ago and said, hey, we want to have a gathering of all of women's basketball players at Roane State, anybody who's ever played. And then Coach Davis said, you know it's the 40th year from the national championship, so come on, Coach Landers. Love those red shoes. I love them. I know they're Roane State. They're not Georgia shoes. They're Roane State shoes. And so then it turned into just multiple text and conversation and messages. Well, let's just invite everybody. Let's just have every sport, every athlete, every person who was a cheerleader, everybody who was in a pep band. Anybody now? We have a dance team. Do we have any of our dance team folks here today? I can't remember if they might be getting ready over in the gym. But so that's how we ended up with this wonderful crowd, and Coach Davis, you know, he's my coach, and if he said, we're going to do this, you know, Teresa, then what do I say? Yes, sir, we're doing this. So I know you don't have time, but we're going to do this. Yes, we are. So I wanted to turn it over to them for just a minute, and Coach Davis, you're going to come over, and then you're going to introduce, now I'm bossing him around, that's not comfortable for me. No. And so they're going to have a little minute here about women's basketball in general, and then specifically about our national championship team. Coach Davis.
Thank you, Teresa. And first of all, thank you, Roane State. Thank you, Dr. Whaley, Teresa, David, anybody that had a part in this. This is awesome. Before I forget, I want to introduce you to another Hall of Famer. If there's ever been a Hall of Fame for teen moms, my wife Bobby would be the first inductee. Bobby, stand up. You know, when I was fortunate enough to become the women's basketball coach here, the other members of the athletic staff, of course, Phil Allen was the athletic director. Carol Smith was the men's basketball coach. Eddie Liskovec was the golf coach. David Mullins was the tennis coach. Coach Steve Peterson was the baseball coach. That's 4 members of this Hall of Fame, I think. So I was blessed to be poured into every day with these coaches. I was asked to speak. First of all, if you played at Roane State Community College while I was a coach, I want you to stand to your feet and don't throw anything. If you're already standing over here, would you step forward and wave your hand proudly? To work with such wonderful young ladies, young people, and obviously wonderful players. We had some great teams here, some teams that were championship teams, 20-plus win seasons almost every year, but it was just an honor. One of the reasons we're here today is because this is the 40th anniversary of our national championship team in 1984. Teresa asked me to share some memories of that. I guess the first thing I need to acknowledge is the fact that in order to go to the national tournament at that time, they didn't have any at-large bids. You had to win your region in order to go to the national tournament. Well, the region tournament was played that year in Paducah, Kentucky. And so Roane State didn't have a lot of money. We couldn't go up early and all that kind of stuff. But there was some really bad weather came through. And at that time, we drove to our games in vans. And I drove a van. And little Sue Kennedy, I don't believe, is Sue here today? I don't believe Sue's here today, but she was one of our players. And she drove a van behind us. We got to the crab orchard where Teresa and Michelle are from, and it didn't snow, but it started icing. That 5-hour trip to Paducah, Kentucky turned into an 8-hour trip, and it was solid ice. The good Lord had his hands upon us that day. But we got there, and these girls played their hearts out, and I could tell some stories about Teresa too, but went in there and won the tournament, beat Paducah on their home court to qualify for the national tournament. And from Paducah, we went to Northwest Mississippi State College, Community College in scenic Senatobia, Mississippi. Y'all remember, don't you? But at any rate, we played 4 games. The first game was against an undefeated team out of Gainesville, Florida, Santa Fe Community College. We beat them handily. The second game was against Sauk Valley Community College out of Illinois. We beat them. The third game was against the #1 ranked team in the country, undefeated, Connor State Junior College out of Warner, Oklahoma. Their starting lineup was 6'5", 6'3", 6'2", and they had a 6'2" shooting guard who was the National Junior College Player of the Year the next year, her sophomore year. Our starting lineup was 5'11", 5'10", and 5'8", against 6'5", 6'3", 6'2". We beat them 67-60. One of the greatest wins that I've ever been a part of. The next night, we got the honor of playing against the home team, the host team, Northwest Mississippi Junior College. They had won 48 straight home games. And we were fortunate enough, we led from wire to wire. I mean, there was no doubt. These young ladies laid it all on the line. Played so well together. And at the beginning of that year, there were 423 junior college teams playing women's basketball. And when the season was over, there was one. We have several members of our 1984 national championship team here. One came all the way from Denver, Colorado. But I want them to come up front right here and stand. Angela Fletcher was the MVP of that national tournament. So come on, ladies, up front. Now. I can't tell you how much I appreciate these young ladies, and they accomplished something that no one, I believe they could play today. What do y'all think? All right, I want to say that this next gentleman coming up is the reason we're all here, probably. He and Dr. Kyler Dunbar, I guess, had the vision to begin a women's basketball team, a women's basketball program at Roane State Community College. And Dr. Dunbar, I don't think, is here today, but he was a great supporter of athletics, just like Dr. Whaley is, and attended all the games that he could. But this next gentleman, I would probably never be where I am today. He probably is responsible for me getting every job I ever had. But he's been a lifelong friend, and so he started the program from scratch and deserves so much credit. So, Coach Andy Landers.
Congratulations to the inductees to the Hall of Fame and to this national championship team and Coach Davis for coaching it. No one really told me what I was going to talk about, so I'm going to ramble for just a second. People ask me how we did this, what it was like when we got started. I'm going to give you an idea. Some of you already know some of this, but I'm going to go back. This was projected to be the smallest community college in the state of Tennessee. When I came to Roane State, it was one building, this building. I think we had about 900 students. Then Roane State grew, took over Oak Ridge, took over Pellissippi. Now there's a spin-off community college. This was supposed to be the smallest community college in the state of Tennessee. It's overachieved. It's really been fabulous for a lot of people, most of you, and certainly for me. This was a place that gave me a chance when I really don't know that I deserved it. I graduate from Tennessee Tech one day. The next day, I am the head coach at Roane State Community College. Don't have a clue. Never coached before in my life. But so blessed to be at a place that would allow me the opportunity to figure it out. Not just allow, but also help me figure it out. Had great support from administration. I inherited, they said I started the program. They actually had a team the year before, and I inherited this team. And the baseball coach, Larry Works, had coached it. And he came to me after I got a job. He said, now listen, son, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to pull you down, anything like that. I said, I just don't want you to be disappointed. He said, you're not going to win a game. And he was dead serious. He said, you're not going to win a game. I said, okay. That's encouraging. So we start off that next year, and I kind of got the job a little bit late. We had 5 or 6 players coming back off of the team before that hadn't won any games. Gwen Talley is sitting here. She was one of those players that I inherited. Gwen, raise your hand. I'd ask you to stand up, but we're too old. This goes back 50 years ago, guys. I was just back there, sitting there thinking, how long has this been? It's been 50 years almost. And what a blessing Gwen was, and Ivory Douglas from Harriman. And then my first recruit is here, Joyce Francis. Joyce, raise your hand. From Midway, first player I ever signed. We start practice that year with 18 players. I'm going to go real quick, because some of this I think is interesting, some of it's not. But we start practice with 18 players. We start the season with 7. I told you I didn't know what I was doing. They all quit. We played the entire year with 7 players. Won 13 games. Lost 9. Next year we went 23-2. Next year we went 24-4. Next year we went 25-5. Those last 3 years we were ranked in the top 6-7 in the country the entire time. We played over 30 games against 4-year schools in the regular season. During those last 3 years, we won every one of them but one. We would have won it, but a guy named Norfleet over at Tennessee Wesleyan figured out that Susie Thompson had a hot head, and if he'd get her mad, she'd get in a fight and get kicked out, and she did. So we lost the one game. We were pretty good. We scrimmaged the University of Tennessee. That's crazy. My last year here, we always scrimmaged Tennessee week before the season started, and then again during the Christmas holidays. We scrimmaged them twice a year. The week before the season started, we scrimmaged them right over here in this gym. We beat them 61-60. It was a Friday night, I'll never forget it, because Rockwood had a big football game that night, and I wanted to go to it. It was Friday afternoon when we scrimmaged. But I couldn't leave because Pat was still running them. She still had them on the baseline, running sprints. Finally, I said, just lock the door when you leave. I'm out. Tennessee finished the season that year ranked number 1 in the country. We were pretty good. How we get good? I'm gonna tell you two things I think influence us, and then I'm gonna let you go. maybe the most profound thing anyone said to me during my development as a coach happened here by the director of admissions, who at the time was Louise Green. If you didn't know or never met Louise Green, she was kind of a misfit. This real sophisticated lady here at Roane State, dressed to the nines, spoke perfect English. She scared me. She had those glasses that hung on the end of her nose, and she would look over them at you. And I'm sitting, and I worked for her. And I'm sitting in her office one day, and this is like the third year. Now get the picture. When I get the job here as a young person, I said, nobody can do this as good as I can. And that extended to everything. Nobody can wash the uniforms as good as I can. So I'll wash them. Because if you wash them, you may put them in hot water and bleed the red onto the white. Nobody can paint the dressing room as good as I can, so I'll paint it. Nobody can build it as good as I can, so I'll build it. Nobody can write news releases as good as Andy can, so Andy will write them. Nobody can call scores in, nobody can tape an ankle, but me. So there's the picture. Now, sitting in Louise Green's office right up there in the corner of the building one day, and we talked about something, and out of the clear blue, Louise Green looks at me. This is how we did it, okay? This is how we did it. Louise Green looks at me and says, you know, Andy, over those glasses now, it's a damn shame. I said, beg your pardon? She said, it's a damn shame. I said, I'm sorry, Ms. Green. I said, what did I do? She said, well, she said, you know, you have this wonderful girls basketball program that a lot of people would like to be involved in. She said, I know Steve Parsons in the accounting office would like to keep the stats. You won't let him. She said, I know the folks in the art department would like to be doing the calendars and the posters that you do, but you won't let them. She said, there's just a lot of people at Roane State that want to be involved. Now, we had this thing going, remember? I mean, we're rocking and rolling. We're winning. People are excited in the community. It's fun. She said, there's just a lot of people that would like to be involved in this, and you won't let them. And then she gave it to me. And because of that, Raiderette basketball will never be any bigger or better than you are. Whoa. Whoa. I get up and I walk across that courtyard back to the gym. She's killed me. She's nailed me. What has this lady who I have all this respect for just told me? That there are a lot of talented people at Roane State. That there are a lot of people, and this is true, this is probably true in my life today. There's a lot of people that want to be involved, that want to be helpful, that care. But you have to let them. And from that day on, not just at Roane State, but at the University of Georgia, I always ask myself, am I letting other people share in what we're doing? Because bottom line, they're not going to be really excited when Jim wins the national championship if they don't feel like they were involved. possibly the best thing that ever happened to me, that discussion. Now, say, how did you do it? Well, I'll tell you, Joyce is sitting back there. She knows the story. In fact, Joyce and I might be the only two people that know the story. So we're not very good, remember? That first year we go over to Hiwassee Junior College and we play in a tournament in December. 4 teams. We won the first night. I'm not sure how, but we won. Now we're playing against Hiwassee the second night for the championship, and we lost. Hiwassee was better than we were. We lost. I'm sitting there after the game. They had the ceremonies where they named the all tournament teams. Had a consolation game, so we gave third place a trophy, and then second place, which was us, a trophy, and then Hiwassee a trophy. And our kids were really excited. Our team was pretty proud because Roane State had never won before, and it might be the first basketball trophy that they've gotten that you don't have. Yes. I'm going to get to that. And I was thinking about them being excited on the way home. We're going down the interstate where you go across the river on that bridge. What river is that, Dr. Davis?
Tennessee River.
Tennessee River. I remember thinking there's a bridge up here with a river in under it. Our kids, Jim's already explained to you how it worked. Everybody's in the van asleep, piled on top of each other, stacked up. I remember thinking, you know, when I get to that bridge, I'm going to ease off over next to the edge. That trophy's sitting right here beside the driver's seat in the van, and I'm going to reach over there and I'm going to get that trophy, and I'm going to go over the top of the van, off the bridge into the river. That's what I did. Nobody moved. Nobody said a word. Drove on home. A couple of days later, Joyce Francis from Midway High School walks in my office. She said, "Coach," she said, "where's our trophy?" I said, "What trophy?" She said, "That trophy we won at Hiwassee." So we didn't win a trophy at Hiwassee. She said, "Coach," she said, "I was awake." She said, "You threw that trophy in the river." I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, Boyd Woody," now Boyd Woody was a longtime coach at Midway High School, legend around these parts. She said, "Now Boyd Woody would have," and I loved Boyd Woody, loved him. She said, "Boyd Woody would have been proud of that trophy." I said, "I ain't Boyd Woody." I said, "And we didn't win a trophy, Joyce." I said, "They gave us a trophy for losing first place." So that kind of became the standard for us in my 4 years here. We would win, or we just wouldn't take it. And we were very fortunate, again, to have had the support. I'm going to close by saying this. It's already been mentioned. I think, Teresa, it was you that mentioned it. The crowd here today. Hey, if you haven't, we're going to figure this out. We're going to do this better, and we're going to do it right. It's great today, but we're going to do it better. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to create some fun around it. It's not just going to be come in, sit, and look at somebody like me. We're going to do this. But what's important is that we have your name, that we have your contact information. If you've got an ex-teammate, we need theirs. It's already been mentioned, but we got to have it, because we want to do this better than anybody else does it. And we want to do it as often as you want to do it, right? And there's certain times when we need to do it, to recognize some of those amongst us. So please, leave your information. If you want to, write it on a napkin, hand it to me, hand it to Teresa, hand it to Dr. Davis, hand it to somebody. I'll make sure it gets where it needs to go. But Roane State is a special place that's been really, really good to me, and I rather suspect many of you. And it's always a pleasure to come back and spend a few minutes. And thank you very much for remembering me. Congratulations to that national, is that the only national championship thing? All right, we got to get in gear. We got to have another national championship team. Women's, only women's, okay. Only junior in the state.
But we have some national champions in other sports, but yes.
Excellent, excellent, that's wonderful. Again, thank you so much, yes.
It was the first national championship in women's basketball in the state of Tennessee before the Lady Boles.
First national championship for women's basketball. I like that, Dr. Davis. I like that. All right, guys, thanks again, and thank you for coming. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you.
We have some of Coach Lander's players here. He pointed out a few. I see a few more in the back. If you played for Coach Landers, would you stand up and wave? Because I'm not sure we've recognized you. Teresa, you guys in the back, I see you hiding. So I'm the closer here because we have, oh yeah, there we go. Did you bring Rick today with you? Did he come? Got him working. I'm going to close it out because we have a 2 o'clock women's basketball game and a 4 o'clock men's. So here's just a few logistics. First of all, we had papers in the back. Our women's cross country coach, Coach Jessica Jones back there, also played softball here with success. She and her teammates are helping to take information if you didn't do that when you signed in. We have a web page very easily. Go to Roane State, go to Hall of Fame and type in your information and tell your friends that played here. But let me just tell you, Coach Landers, where are you? Just real quick. Coach Landers was our graduation speaker. I have so many stories, we don't have time for them, but let me tell you one on him. He was our graduation speaker, as was Coach Davis a few years ago when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Coach Landers and I had to work on his speech. I had to know what he was going to say because we had to get a sign language, a sign interpreter, and she had to have his notebook of his speech written out. He said, Teresa, we sat on the phone at night and he'd give me the speech. I said, just talk like you're going to speak. I'll write it down. So I wrote it all down. I typed that up. And so when he said he didn't come prepared, I knew better than to tell him what he was going to say because of that experience. He said, I've written 5,000 speeches or whatever number you used, but I've never, what'd you say? No, I've given 5,000 speeches, but I've never written one. So that was a pretty good talk for not having written it down. So anyway, whenever we handed that sign interpreter, he never said one word on it. So she just sat there and looked at him and tried her best. But I am humbled with the attendance today. I really am humbled by that and appreciate it. One of my goals, as an employee of Roane State for 28 years now, I cannot believe that. I never knew when I played here that I would come back here as an employee, first of all, nor did I ever know I'd have athletics as a responsibility. Literally, if I'd have done that, I'd have figured out those accounts a long time ago. But I'm humbled by that. But personally, my goal is because when we hold these events, we started them a few years ago, we don't have good records. And we don't know how many this and that's of people. So that's one of my personal goals. So I appreciate Coach Landers, Coach Davis stirring us up. But we do need your records. Help us out on that so that we can establish that really solid history of this beautiful, wonderful place. We have, if any of the athletes and coaches and anybody here today, please, it's all free to get into the ball games. We don't charge anything like that. But we'd like to recognize all of you at the halftime of the women's game. So if you will stick around and we're going to recognize you. And to my boss, Dr. Chris Whaley, do you have any closing remarks? Let me say thank you on behalf of all of us And thank you, Matt Waters, because you did the video. Sandy Roberts is going, stay for pictures if you were given an award or if you played, and we want to get some group photos. Thank you. Thank you.